Hi guys, Hellrain82 here. Today I've got the privilege of showing to you the early access P-47D-30. Big thanks to Matt and Eagle Dynamics for inviting me along to this, and a big thanks to you guys for making it possible with your support of the channel. What we're going to do today is have a look at the external and internal modelling, do a cold start of the plane, and then a takeoff and a landing. As you can see, we are on the channel map as well, but for now we're just going to focus on the bird. As per usual, Eagle Dynamics have done a cracking job with the 3D modelling of this plane. The external details and defects all give the bird life and character, such as the detail that you can see of the radial engine through the opening in the front, the carbon deposits from the exhausts, and the level of detail that's gone into the struts of the landing gear. This is no factory fresh bird. It looks used and lived in, and you've got blemishes across the whole body of the plane. Obviously, as this being an early access module, things may change, but I can only imagine that they'll get better. Let's jump inside and have a look. Okay guys, so here we are in the cockpit of the P-47D, and as you can see it looks fantastic. The weathering again continues inside and gives the character and life to this cockpit. The wear on the footwells here, the different paint touch-up jobs, the scratches across the instruments, panelling. It just looks good. It looks lived in. It's not a million miles away from how the Mustang's cockpit is laid out, but there are some obvious differences. So we're just going to quickly go through just a walk around to get a bit of familiarisation. So we'll start over here on the left. This is the trim panel. So this bird has got rudder, aileron and elevator trim. Got the flaps lever here, and this is actually a 3-stage lever. So you can see there down, neutral and up. Neutral being in the middle, down and up. But what this means is if you just map this as flaps up and flaps down, it will just go through the whole range of motion. So if you put it up, it will just all the way come up. If you put it down, it goes all the way down. So I've actually mapped the neutral step as well, which means that I can stop the flaps at certain increments, just like you would in the P-51, for example. Gear handle assembly here. Then we've got the main fuel tank controls and the external fuel tank controls. Here we have the indicator and controls for the oil cooler and intercooler. These give a visualization of how open or closed the flaps are. Canopy controls. P-47's got a electrical canopy, so no winder like the Mustang. Throttle quadrant, self-explanatory, mixture, prop pitch, boost. Main panel down here's got most of the circuit breakers on it. It's also got the generator and the pitot heating, some of the lights and the gun sight light here. Fairly familiar and recognisable aviation gauges here. You've got your speed, altitude, climb and sink, G's. On the other side is the engine gauges, temperature, oil pressure, fuel pressure, RPMs and manifold pressure, ADI. Of course the recognisable K14 gun sight. Primer there, oxygen blinker and pressure and hydraulic pressure. Oxygen controls are here, radio controls all here, familiar looking radio block. Tail wheel locks down here, and these buttons are for IFF, but obviously I don't think we use them in DCS. And you've got a nice little folder down here, unfortunately you can't interact with, but be used for storing your paperwork and whatnot as you're going. So yeah, that's a quick overview of the cockpit. I think it looks fantastic. Again, the modelling and the detail and texturing, just what we expect nowadays in ED. Really nice job. So next up, we're just gonna cold start this bird and just go through the process. So I'll see you in 1 second. Okay, so first things first, we're going to turn on the battery and set the magnetos to both. Going to come down here, turn on the main fuel, turn the generator on, Crack the throttle an inch and push the pitch all the way forward. I'm just going to set the selector switch to auto here. Next up, we're going to prime the engine, 6 pumps. Right, now what we need to do is engage and energize the starter. You need to hold this for about 15 seconds. And once it's past 15 seconds, you need to engage the starter. Just going to put the brakes on. Like the P-51, you'll have to move the mixture to auto rich. Engage is mapped to home by default. And I'm just going to continue holding engage until the engine properly starts up. Can take a few seconds. Here it comes. Lovely. Release the starter and we'll shut the canopy. Okay, so that's all cooking with gas. What we need to do is let the temperatures rise to operational, mainly for the oil and the oil pressure. What we're going to do now is I'm just going to open the cowl flaps a little bit just so the cylinder heads don't get too hot while we're sat here. And I'm actually going to close my oil cooler flaps just to let the oil heat up a bit quicker. I'll just quickly cover the gunnery whilst we wait for that. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, this is the K-14. We've got our range controls and our wingspan controls. So I usually set this to about 1100 for range and the wingspan of about 37 foot. Down here we can turn the lighting on for the sight. And of course you've got your master arm hiding away back here. Now we have the very familiar reticle on the glass. So we'll turn the master arm off for now. So this is going to take a few minutes for the bird to warm up and be ready to go. So I will cut back using the magicking of editing once we're ready. Catch you in a mo. Okay guys, so here we are. The bird is now at operational temperatures. It's actually getting a little bit warm on the oil there, so I actually need to reopen my oil cooler. But we are good and set to taxi, so just going to gently throttle up a little bit. It's quite a powerful engine, it's 2000 horsepower, and makes light work of getting this bird moving despite how heavy she is. Controlling it on the ground in the taxi is very easy. Like the Mustang, it's got the toe brakes as mentioned, so just the occasional tap here and there gets the nose moving and going where you want it. Obviously if you put a bit too much brake in, you'll just end up spinning, or worse, you'll end up nosing into the floor. Because of the weight of the plane, it does roll quite happily by itself after a little bit of a push. I've noticed that in flight also it quite easily just carries on going. Doesn't really lose too much speed despite having the manifold pressure back and the RPMs back. Right, so we're good to go, so I'm going to lock the tail wheel, and I'm also just going to introduce a bit of elevator trim upwards, nose up, and a bit of aileron to the right. I have found that helps with the torque. Okay, I think we are good to go. So, brakes are on. Bring the throttle up gently. Brakes off. Bit of right rudder. Carry on advancing the throttle. Just trying to keep my rudders in view there so you can see what's going on. little bit of a dance, just keeping the bird straight and true. She's starting to lift by herself. We're up, gears coming up. Back off the rudder now. Sort out the trim. And there we go, easy. Probably as easy as getting the Mustang off the floor. Gentle movements, small movements with the rudder. Most of the time it's wanting to bring the nose to the left, so you just counter on the right. Let's bring the manifold pressure back down. And the RPMs down to a bit more comfortable. So we'll just cruise along. What we're going to do is just going to head out a little bit this way, and then we'll loop back and try and land. I have got a, well, I've not decreased the fuel level, so she's about 67%, so it's going to be quite heavy. Make the landing a bit more fun. Let's have a look at the outside and listen to some of the sounds of the engine. I do love the sound of a radial engine. Okay, so I'm just going to bring the nose around now, and we'll head back to the airfield, and I'll have an attempt at putting this bird back on the ground. I'll catch you in a moment. Going this way around just so I can land into the wind, try and help myself out a bit. As I did say earlier, I do find that it's it seems to hold its speed quite well despite the size of the bird, even with everything pulled all the way back. So, losing a bit of speed now, going down to 200. Just going to gently turn in. Just gently bleed the airspeed in the turn. Start putting some flaps down. Neutral my flaps there. I'm going to drop the gear. Putting back the manifold pressure and the RPMs a bit. Try and help it slow. Gears fully down. Nice line, just letting her stabilise. Try and control the sink rate. Easy does it, 100 miles per hour. Tiny bounce, not bad. I'm not used to the height of the bird, the height of the cockpit. I say I'm not used to it, I'm not that great at landing any wallboard, to be fair. But we did it, that wasn't too bad. Just gentle braking. Slow her down a bit. Okay guys, so that's my initial impressions of the P-47D -30. Let's bring the flaps up. Park up near these two bad boys over here. Yeah, so far I think it's really quite nice. Obviously there is work to be done. Damage model is one of the big ones again, but as we're all well aware, the whole World War II scene is getting revamped on the damage model front. So that will come, and it will hopefully be amazing when it arrives. But yeah, in general, I'm very impressed I do want to do some testing with dogfights and general manoeuvres and flying, but I will save that for another video. Wow, that gives you some sense of scale of how grand the jug is. It's quite a behemoth, really. But yeah, okay guys, I've been Heron82. I hope you enjoyed this first looks, and I'll catch you in the next video. Fly safe and keep safe. See you later guys.